Hello, kings, queens, monarchs of every element. I am RJ the Jank Monarch, and there is no Master Duel Destiny today. There will be this weekend, and the reason why that is has a lot to do with what I'm going to be talking about in this video, but the long story short of it is I hired an editor, the incredible and very skilled Emily, whose work you have probably seen on Golden Nova's channel before. She's a wonderful editor and she's already doing great work with this series as we speak, but I wanted to give her some time to settle in, reset our schedule so that the filming and editing works for both of us. But in the meantime, I think this is an important catalyst for us to talk about the future of this channel, because there is a bit of a sea shift in my life and how I'm operating around the channel that's probably good for you to hear about. I am doing this in all one take, and I'm probably not going to do any editing for this. I want you to get this as timely as possible and also kind of like my most raw conversational thoughts around it as possible. But the probable title of this video and or thumbnail are not clickbait. This channel is probably going to die. Whether that's sooner or later is unclear, and that's not necessarily one take. And that's probably not necessarily a bad thing. I wanted to explain to you what that means for the channel. It actually paradoxically means that there's probably going to be more content on this channel in the near future. And what it means for the channel, what it means for you, and give you kind of a heads up about where this is going to be going and what I'm doing and why. So let's actually start with the why to give you context for what's about to happen. Back in my college days, I stopped doing my big Yu-Gi-Oh! In business casual thing. I get a lot of comments about this actually. The people miss the Yu-Gi-Oh! In business casual thing that I did. And the concept of business casual Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still something I entirely stand and am about, but I changed things up a lot because a lot of things changed in my life since then. I got a degree in political science and economics and communications. I started doing dancing regularly. I took on that hobby pretty seriously. So I started going dancing. I moved in with my partner. I saw that there are things in the world that need to be changed and decided I was going to get involved in changing them, and have been doing activism work ever since as well. And so that is what happened in the big gap between when I was filming Yu-Gi-Oh! And business casual stuff and when I started filming again. And then in 2020, when many of those things, especially dance and activism, well, that's a different story, but dance especially got a little bit hampered by a minor global event. Aleximo contacted me to be like, hey, you want to film Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff like old times. I say that happened then as if Aleximo hadn't been like pestering me on Facebook for years, but now there was an actual catalyst. And so we started filming Sealed Showdown, and I ate it up. Writing, communication, public speaking, researching, those types of things are things that I really enjoy and find myself drawn to, and I love Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a reason why I had been filming on this channel for like 10 years before that. So Alex contacts me, we start Sealed Showdown, and I get really into YouTubing. I got really ambitious when it came to this channel. I started a few different series. I started to do some side content. I started streaming multiple times a week. And I started to find that while at first I was really into it and I felt really successful doing it, this was going really well for me. Once things began to open up again, once things started, once I had moved to Portland and started doing my own things here, that life quickly became unsustainable for me. Because YouTube isn't my life, it's my hobby. And I have a lot of other hobbies, and it doesn't even pay enough at this point for it to be a business. But I was really focused on running this channel as a profitable business venture, effectively, with me doing all of my own work, investing as little money into it as possible so that it came close to making something that I could cope about being minimum wage, and maybe sometime be able to go part time, maybe even be able to go full time. And I realized that because I was treating the channel that way, I wasn't living my life. And at some point, I even wasn't playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Particularly. I wasn't getting to actually play the game. My life was taken up by editing all days of the week. And I don't like that. I like editing, but I don't like spending most of my free time doing so. I'm an extrovert. I'm not a homebody. Being inside is not my natural state of being, and having a desk job has made it so that, unlike early college and late high school, where I had the kind of free time that it takes to be able to do multiple things with my life at once, I don't right now. But recently, I started getting back into dance. I'm doing 2 different dances regularly, seriously, right now. I've connected with activism groups. I've gotten to actually do community work, which is what I really want to do. And I'm starting to explore where I want my life to go. And I do love making YouTube videos. I'd love to be able to go full time. But recently, more and more, I've had trouble making the time to edit. I've gone from making multiple series or multiple videos a week, including a weekly series, to barely scraping out 1 series a week because I can't keep up with the editing. That's why things like Master Duel Destiny occasionally just skip a week, because I will plan out time to edit, and sometimes that time just doesn't come around, even if I lose sleep over it. And that doesn't really do right by the people who have supported me in building this channel. There are plenty of people who have financially supported the channel over on Patreon or on Twitch. There are a lot of people who have invested time and effort into helping me build this channel, and I want to do right by them. And I want to do right by myself, by my partner, and actually produce content. And to that end, I have started hiring editors. And editors cost a lot more than this channel actually produces, but I've built up a fairly hefty war chest over my time having a Patreon. And I wanted to thank some folks specifically by name for that. There are some folks who have contributed, like, on their own, multiple episodes worth of editing in terms of finance, and it's amazing. Folks like Ian Musa, Phoenix the Immortal, Sophie apparently has been supporting me for years. There are a couple of other people who have just been here long enough and been contributing enough that their money can contribute to my being able to produce content. So I should be using that money to do so, to give you folks content, which means I'm basically going to be running this channel financially into the ground. And when I get to the end of my finances, that's probably going to be it from my channel. Maybe. I'm running into a few threads of thought here, and again, I don't want to do any editing, and I want to do this in one take. But the one that I really want to get across is, even if this channel doesn't continue in the fashion that it does, I've been wanting to do video essay content for forever, and so even if I'm not doing weekly releases, there's a world where you'll hear from me, but it won't be the channel that you know. And that's fine. I'm glad to have that happen. My life has blossomed outside of this room, and I'm so happy for that. I could not be happier about that fact. And that's why I'm doing this. I want to be able to make more content for this channel than I can as a single person trying to edit multiple videos in a week, and I want to be able to live my life. And if that means spending the remainder of the money that my Patreon has sitting in it to give you the content that you all supported me for, and then maybe not having any more to give, then I'm happy with that. So that's the future of this channel. I'm going to be producing multiple videos a week now. I have one thing that I'm going to be editing myself in addition to Master Duel Destiny that I expect to come out next week. And then I have a bunch of stuff already filmed that I just need to ship off to editors. And there are a couple of editors that I'm already working with. And there's going to be cube stuff. There is going to be video essay type stuff. There's going to be a special episode of I Challenge You. And what this also means is that I am going to have more time to actually do things for my Patreon. So how long this goes for really depends on my Patreon membership. As long as I have Patreon money to do so, I am going to be making videos and sending them to editors. And it's actually less expensive to do that than I would expect. I ran the numbers, and if like 10% of my subscribers here went to my Patreon and joined the $1 tier, I could do this indefinitely, which is wild to think about, that we're that close to being able to continue this channel indefinitely while hiring editors, which would be amazing, because even if we got above that number a little bit, I could produce even more content. But if you want to, that would be amazing. If you want to go over to Patreon, if you want to help out and contribute $1, contribute some more, get some bonus content, I have cool things coming out for that Patreon. People at all tiers will have access to a new series of videos I'll be doing that I call RJ Extras, which are just unedited discussions. They're like short videos where I just talk about something going on. I'm thinking of posting updates on my Master Duel Masochist run, but there are a lot of other things coming, especially at the $5 tier, where I have extras from I Challenge You coming, extra duels that we didn't get to do during the previous video or season. So if you want to see more I Challenge You, you can get that there. And if you want to get early episodes of stuff that I'm producing, you can also do that there. So there's content you can get there if you want. And the more money that's there, the longer this channel continues. And if there aren't enough people who are interested in paying to support the channel and keep that effort going, that's also perfectly fine. At the end of the day, I will have produced what I wanted to produce. And that's really what's important to me. So yeah, there's a possibility that this channel disappears. Maybe sooner, maybe later, and that's perfectly fine. I'm sorry that that would mean that there are some things that never come out. There's a world where there isn't another season of I Challenge You. But it does mean that I get to more enthusiastically participate in content, actually play some Yu-Gi-Oh!, stream multiple times a week, make Master Duel Destiny, make other content, and do right by the people who have supported my content all this time. So I want to give one last shout out to the people who have been on my Patreon for all this time. One shout out to any folks that sign up for it. A shout out to Emily for being willing to produce Master Duel Destiny now. I've seen the rough cuts and she's done an amazing job. So look forward to seeing the next episode this weekend and the next stream tonight. Very excited about that. And I appreciate all of you for being here and watching, and to all of you who are subscribed for continuing to support the channel, show up, watch the nonsense that I produce, and enjoy the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Go forward in humble confidence, my friends. I hope you have a good day.